Chiefs Kingdom, I got something for you. Here are the numbers. 35 for 50, 406 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to one-on-one. We're back on track against the Raiders, baby. There's no Aaron Rodgers in here. No, the Giants stink. Went in, beat a good team on their place, and did it in Chiefs fashion. Jeff, we got some cookies first. I'm fired up. Let's talk about some cookies. Cookie site cookie, man. I got the stuff coming. Next week I'll have it. I got the merch. I got cookies coming. I got candles. Next time you see me, I'm going to be back at my playing weight. My face is going to look like a marshmallow. Cookie site cookie. Check them out. You got to get. This is perfect for the holidays coming up. Black Friday, Christmas, Thanksgiving. This is that time of year for cookies and all the other stuff that Cookie Society has to offer. Jeff, anything I'm missing? Anything new on the?
Nothing. The same menu, November menu. That peach cobbler's been flying. Like people have been talking about that, raving about it. The sweet potato pie, which is one of my favorites right now. Yeah. And just stay tuned. We have a lot of Black Friday deals coming up. Yeah, I got a lot of opportunities to get some good cookies, for a good price.
I got a November pack. I think I got a November pack.
Yeah,
and some stuff, some merch. So and a candle too.
Awesome.
That candle's going to remind me that I need to go eat the cookies that are in the November pack.
You get it.
Check them out. Cookiesite.com. Thank you as always to our sponsor, Big Jeff. Man, we're back, brother. We're back.
Yes, sir.
We're back. And you know what? Before we even get into the X's and O's and everything that went down, I think what's important to highlight here is even though we had some would say ugly wins over the last two teams, right? The Giants aren't very good. Just beat them. Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers, not very good. We just beat them. That builds momentum in the right direction. It doesn't have to be beautiful every time. To get those 2 wins is that exploded us right out of the hole. Right. And now here we are. This is Chiefs football, man. 41-14. Pat Mahomes, no turnovers, 35 passes caught, 406 yards. I mean, just it's what we're used to. And listen to these defensive stats. So they held them to the Raiders to 50 yards rushing, 249 yards passing. I mean, Radames, take me through it because you predicted it. You predicted the OBJ. You predicted that we were going to come out in all 3 phases of be fire. And talk to me, brother. What'd you see, man? I've been blamed.
Yeah, I just felt it coming. It's been a weird year, not just for the Chiefs, for the league in general. And we talked about it. You talked about us feeling bad about getting wins the past couple of weeks because it was Daniel Jones and the backup quarterback in Green Bay.
Right.
But if we look throughout the league each and every week, there's been some upsets. I mean, we just saw Tampa lose to Washington. A team that we beat. So it's any given Sunday. I mean, that sounds cliche, but that's the truth. So you got to appreciate every single win and keep stacking them the way we are. And I just felt this coming. I saw the way the defense has been playing.
Right.
Over the course of the last 3 weeks. It's just been building, and you can see it. You can see the way the defensive line has been getting after the quarterback. You can see the way they're stopping the run. You can't talk enough about the defensive backs right now. And the way that they're challenging receivers and the way that they're playing physical. They give up plays here and there, but they've been phenomenal, especially, Ward and Snead. Snead's been all over the place. He's making open field tackles like an all-pro linebacker.
Right.
You got Honey Badger, the heart and soul of the defense, making a ton of plays, playing the run, blitzing, coverage. He always finds a way around the ball. I mean, Fenn against Deshaun Jackson got that strip on that big play, and guess who did to recover it? Honey Badger. So it's just about an attitude right now, and I think the defense has it.
Right, and now one of the things we've talked about ad nauseum here is how the offense trying to make up for the lack of play on defense and all the points that have been scored. Now the past 3 or 4 games, the defense has really shown, hey, go out and do what you do, offense. Like, we got this. We got this. Yeah. And it's not just all 3 phases. Like you said, it's all 3 levels of the defense, right? Yeah. So it's not just up front's playing well and they're sort of carrying it. I mean, you see all 3 levels of the defense playing in sync, with each other. It's like everything's in harmony, looking good. Coverage is good, like you said. The rush up front is good. The run technique from the beginning of the season to now, I don't know what happened. I don't know how you can fix it that fast. We've talked about how you can't have these padded practices. It's not like you have 4 or 5 9-on-7s leading up into a game. And yet the difference with the run technique up front from the beginning of the season till now is night and day. Guys are staying patient. They're in their gaps. They're using release techniques. They're getting off the ball. They're making tackles. They're in sync with the backers. That was something I noticed at the beginning of the season that wasn't the case. Backers overflowing, D-line underflowing, and you had these big wide gaps. That stuff's done. I mean, you got to give Spags credit, Andy Reid credit. I don't know how – because as a defender, I'm looking at that and thinking, I'm a little bit worried about this long term because I just don't know how you fix this stuff in the middle of the season. It's like a 180. It's like a 180. I just don't know how it gets done, Jeff.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think we'd ever stop the run. So this has been the biggest surprise of the season, but a great surprise. I think it just comes down to guys doing their job. Guys aren't trying to do too much. Guys are doing what they're supposed to do. And I think it started when we put Nick Bolton and Willie Gay in the lineup. Those guys were flying around, making tackles sideline to sideline. Yeah. And that energy kind of permeated throughout the defense. And guys probably looked at it like, man, these young guys are bringing some juice.
Yeah.
I need to do the same thing. So I think that kind of like rubbed off on everyone. So that was good to see. And we talked about 3 phases. We have the best special teams coach in the NFL, and Dave Tobes.
Yeah.
I think that guy should be a head coach one day. He's a heck of a human being.
Right.
Even great, and a great coach. So just seeing him, throwing a fake punt, we're up 14, whatever, and Townsend throws a complete dime to Kemp. That was amazing to see. Outside of the turnover, the special teams was perfect.
Yeah.
They were
such a good coach. He's such a good coach, Jeff, that when I was there, I don't know if I told you this, said this on the show before, but when I was there, I respected his opinion so much and trusted him so much as a coach that even the defensive lineman, I would ask him, hey, can you grade the game from last week for me? And grade it out. Because he's not just, his knowledge isn't just limited to special teams. I mean,
he knows everything.
Football. And he would grade out my games for me and give me, pluses and minuses. And I trusted him so much to tell me where I was at. I mean, you're right. He's an amazing coach. I mean, if I wasn't 320 pounds and unathletic, like I would have done anything to be on special teams to be playing for him. So that's a great point. Talk to me about the offensive line, Orlando Brown. We were talking about that before the show started. Talk to me about what's going on O, because boy, are they firing.
I think that they're firing, and I think I saw this coming too. The reason why is because the last 3 weeks we were so close. Yeah. You could see it, especially on the first drives of the game. They were taking what the defense was giving them, and they were driving the ball effectively and making plays. But it was either turnovers or we were inefficient on third down. And those are things that you can fix. I mean, third down just comes down to, in our case, was catching the ball. Right. I mean, people were just dropping passes. So if you can keep drives going, it's hard to stop this offense. So if you're not turning the ball over, you're catching, catchable passes, it gives you a chance. And I think you're just seeing Patrick more comfortable in the pocket. Yeah. Not, scrambling when he doesn't have to, stepping up, taking those underneath routes, letting the receivers do some work after a catch, and seeing like that gives him confidence. Now he sees like, okay, I don't have to necessarily have the explosive big play, 70-yard touchdown to put up points. We're just as explosive this way because we have weapons. We put up 40 points. We put up 40 points, and I don't know what his average yards per attempt was, but I'm sure it's lower than it's ever been. So seeing that and seeing the effectiveness of it and seeing the ability to still put up points is going to do wonders for this offense. And I think this is only the beginning, and this is going to continue.
And you know what? So you're right on. And there's so many things we can talk about on the offense. I got to talk about Travis Kelce, and it's not just this game, but it's just been this entire year.
Yeah.
He is an all-star Hall of Fame player. Yep. And it's his ability to catch the football, to find the open space, to get the ball, to make plays. He makes big plays in big situations, all of that. and that's why he's a Hall of Famer. But the grit and the nastiness and just his ability, you can tell he fights through injuries. He's blocking the hell out of people. Like he looks like one of us, like an interior guy. As much as he's doing all the specialty work on the outside, he's out there getting dirty, getting nasty every play, and beating through things. And I mean, you look at somebody like that and you look at that sort of maturation in his game and you think he's so far, he's already come so far. How much better can he get? And he just keeps adding new elements to his game. And I don't know if I just hadn't paid close enough attention to him in the past, but he's that guy that, as a defensive end, if I'm playing a 5 technique, I know I'm going to oh man, Kelce's out there. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to have to, he's going to get gritty with me. I might not weigh him or something like that, but he's getting in there and he's getting nasty with me. You gotta give a guy.
You gotta give him his proper dues. He's earned it. He's done it year after year. His consistency, his durability, the toughness that he brings to this offense. I mean, we don't talk about it enough. I know he's a flashy player. Everyone talks about the catches he makes, the receiving yards, the touchdowns, but the media, for some reason, it's always, I guess, the mark on him is he can't block, which is totally false. This guy can block. This guy is tough. He brings great leadership, and I think that is an underrated part of his game that needs to be talked about more. And it's hard to stay on the field. I mean, I don't know how many straight games he's played, but outside of his rookie year and missing that year, he's been on the field damn near every game, every possible play, and being consistent. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's standard Kansas City Chiefs football. This was something I know I've talked about before, but for whatever reason, the All-Stars, well, I know the reasons, but the All-Stars in Kansas City, from the time I got there, you, DJ, Justin Houston, Tamba, Kelce, and it's going on right now, Mahomes. You look at it and it's not a facade. These guys work like undrafted free agents.
Yep.
And when you combined all the talent and ability they have with that mindset of we're just coming in to get better and grind and lunch pail mentality, and now you enter in Andy Reid and his philosophy and his system. I mean, barring injuries, there's just no slowing these guys down. And so it's just it really is incredible to see him continue to grow. And I never understood the blocking, the hit on him that he can't block. I mean, I remember being on 9 and 7 with him, and this is 2015, and thinking, wow, he's a good blocker. So, yeah, I don't get that, but shout out to Kelce. I mean, he just continues to get better. Brother, talk to me. Break me through the offensive line. What did you see? I mean, they just continue to look solid. Anything new?
Dominant again. I mean, it starts with the inside 3: Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Joe Thuney. Those guys have been solid from the jump, and just seeing, Orlando Brown, just seeing him improve week after week, and over the last 3 weeks, I don't think there's been a left tackle playing, any better than him. So that's been awesome to see. That's been awesome to see him and Pat get on the same page. Yeah. Patrick's starting to realize that he has the best interior unit in the NFL, and that those guys are going to be solid, and he's going to have an opportunity to step up more times than not. So he's starting to step up in the pocket. Orlando's getting the feel for it and starting to run those defensive ends by, and they're starting to, marry up and be on the same page. Let's talk about my man, Andrew Wiley, though.
Talk about it, brother. Tell me.
Andrew Wiley is one of my favorite teammates ever. He's a team-first guy, works extremely hard. So it's really good to see a guy that puts in the work, see some success. And he was going against one of the best pass rushers in the league right now, Max Crosby, who happened to be his former teammate.
Yeah.
And that's tough to do sometimes, mentally going against a friend. But I think he did a really good job. Got some help here and there. But to go out there, not starting all year, not knowing what to expect, playing a position that's not necessarily his natural position, to go out there and do his thing, that was really good to see.
Yeah, I didn't even realize they were friends too. I have a story from down the road about playing against my best friend.
I definitely got to talk about that. We're going to talk about that this podcast.
Yeah. Let's remind us about that, because that's a good one. Lot more to get to before I jump into our sponsor. I did want to end on one thing about this past week's game, and that was listening to Andy Reid talk in his presser. He talked about how the sort of leadership is delegated on the offensive side of the ball, specifically with the play calling, where EB himself, Mahomes, and I'm blanking on the quarterback coach's name.
Mike
Yeah. How everybody sort of is working together to call those plays. Mm-hmm. And so he talked about one of these plays where the play before that the Chiefs had scored, Pat went up to Coach Reed and said, hey, call this. If you're going to call this play, fine. But after, let's call this because I think this one's open. And so he said, okay, go with it. And they went and they scored on the next play. It takes a lot for a coach, especially a coach like Andy Reid, who has every reason to say, listen, I've proven myself. I'm running, I'm steering the ship, to delegate the responsibility to the other guys and to EB, to Kafka, to Patrick. I just was like, wow, I never realized that. I knew he was humble like that, but I never realized that there were so many voices that play into how things flow over there on offense.
Those are the guys that have like priority. But this guy will take advice from anyone. Like, honestly, there's no ego with Coach Reid. If there's something that he thinks could possibly help this offense, he's gonna listen to it. I mean, I've heard stories about guys going to his office and bringing up a wrinkle here and there or dropping off a play. So it doesn't surprise me. I've seen it live. I know how he operates, and that's why he's so innovative. It's not just him, but him not having an ego helps them stay, stay hip, right. Stay young. Some coaches, they stay in their old ways and they kind of fade away because they don't change with the time. But that's not Coach Reid. He understands that the game evolves and you can't get any better unless you learn from those who are following you.
I love reading sort of Navy SEAL literature, reading about the SEALs. I'm a big Navy SEAL fan. And one of the things you hear them talk about repeatedly, sort of a consistent theme throughout sort of all the books that I've read, is when it comes to leadership, if you don't have a leader that can delegate responsibility and that can listen to the rest of the platoon and take the advice, they're bound to fail 100% of the time. And this isn't just in the military. It's not just in football. It's anywhere in life. When you're in a leadership position, you have to be able to listen to the input of others. And Andy Reid, you're right. I mean, his humility and ability to do that. If there's anybody that was whatever justified to say, I'm gonna do it my way. It's him. And yet, that's the paradox of it, and that's why he's so great. Before we go into the next subject, we got Dallas next week. That's a real big game. Let's talk about our sponsor, Tickets for Less. If you're looking to score an unbeatable deal on Chiefs tickets, my friends at Tickets for Less have you covered. Locally owned for more than 17 years, ticketsforless.com has the best selection of Chiefs tickets for every game, all without the outrageous taxes or per-ticket service fees you find on other sites. Plus, you can use our exclusive KCSN promo code for Tickets for Less to save even more. Use code KCSN21 at checkout to save big on any Chiefs order at ticketsforless.com. That's KCSN21. Check them out, Tickets for Less. All right, so we beat the Giants. This was a couple weeks ago. We beat the Giants, but it wasn't a great game. We just pulled it off. Then we're looking down the barrel of the Packers, the Raiders, and the Cowboys. Beat the Packers, beat the Raiders. Now we're at the end of that, and we got the Cowboys. Now this will be the biggest test of these three. And looking at the schedule, this looks like to be the biggest test for the rest of the year when you look at who we have left on the schedule. Going into this week, how do you feel about our guys, Jeff?
I feel good. I think defensively, it's definitely going to be a challenge. But if they can come out and be consistent and play the way they've been playing, it's going to be a really close game.
Yeah.
If they come out and they're not ready, Dak and that receiving core, they're going to put up some numbers. So I think as long as the defensive line is coming out ready to, play, stop the run first off, because Zeke is still an elite running back.
Still going. And
get after Dak. Not let him sit in the pocket. They're going to give themselves a chance. And offensively, I think they figured it out. I think this is the recipe for the rest of the year. And I think early on in the year, dealing with the cover 2 looks and the shell coverages, we depended too much on Kelce. He feasted last game.
Yeah.
But guys like Darrell Williams out the backfield, you got Clyde coming back too.
Right.
Tyreek has kind of evolved. I mean, he went from this deep threat to, running these underneath routes, running these comebacks, these out routes, and, getting yards after the catch. So that's going to have to be, in the game plan, because Dallas is going to come out and they're going to probably do the same thing. I don't see them trying to challenge them in man. I know Diggs has a ton of, interceptions, and they did a really good job last week, but I don't think any, defensive backfield in the league can match up with us, in single coverage. So I'm expecting the same thing defensively, with the too high and the shell looks. But I think we've got it figured out. So I'm excited to see, what we put on film this week.
Jeff Stradamus said it as good as written in stone, brother.
We're going to win.
We're going to win this, baby. All right. That's what I like. That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I love hearing you say that. So somebody on Twitter asked us to talk about our pregame routine. So what sort of goes into getting ready for a game, halftime, post-game? And I thought it was a good question. I don't know if it's something that you and I have talked about, but football players tend to be really superstitious in these. Even your least superstitious person probably has a game day routine, and if you were to mess with that, that would mentally just jack them up. So, Jeff, talk to me about early mornings before the game. Let's start night before and then going into the next morning. What does that look like for you?
Well, night before, right after that team meeting, I go and get a cheeseburger. I go get a cheeseburger. I go to my room. I rent a movie. I watch a movie, usually one of the new movies that's out, and I go to sleep. I go to sleep probably usually around like 11 p.m. or something like that. If it's a noon game, I wake up. I'm down at breakfast at about 6:30.
Yeah.
I usually get on that first bus that's heading to the stadium so I can get in there. I go in, I take a shower, I stretch, listen to some music, go through the pregame magazine, looking at the different articles and stuff.
Yeah.
Then I go into the training room, I get taped up, go out on the field, do my warm-up before the team warm-up. Everyone gets in, we go out, do the team warm-up, and then it's time to go.
That's
my routine. It's the same thing over and over. In pregame, I eat the same thing. I eat spaghetti and eggs.
Yes.
Spaghetti and eggs is my pregame meal. I know it sounds like a crazy combination, but I've been doing it since college.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything else, and I've had success with it. So I kept doing it all the way throughout my tenure in the NFL, and that was my meal.
Yeah. See, I think you said this at one point. I'm the same way in that when we got to the hotel, I wasn't visiting with anybody. No. I wasn't leaving. I was going from the meeting rooms on the second floor back to my room. That were the two places that I was going to be, those two places. And we'd be in San Diego 2 days early, not going out, staying in the house. We'd be anywhere at Kansas City. I'm showing up at 3:30. I'm the first one at the hotel. They don't even have the ropes, to section off.
I'm gonna cut you off, man, because this is a funny story.
Yeah.
Talking about not leaving the hotel, we're wired the same way. I can remember we were here in Dallas. I live here in Dallas now.
Yeah.
And we were staying at the Renaissance Hotel in Frisco, Texas, before a Cowboys game. And before it was a preseason game, but we were using their practice facility because we were doing joint practices. And we were there for 5 days.
Yeah.
But I never left the room. I go to meetings, I'll go eat, and I'll go back to the room. Well, funny story, it was in this awesome area that I now know called Legacy West, with a ton of shopping, great restaurants.
Yeah.
And my wife took me out when we first moved down here, and we went out there, and I was like, hey, we stayed in that hotel. I had no clue all of this stuff was 2 feet away from us. She's like, really? She's like, we got stuck down here during Hurricane Harvey. I think that was in 2016.
Yeah.
So we were here like 10 days actually. And and I never left the hotel. And I was like, I could have had some of the best food on earth.
What? You were with the Chiefs? No, you were with Houston.
I was with Houston Texans. I could have got stuck there. Yeah. There was a hurricane in Houston, so we ended up getting stranded in Dallas. But I just never left the room.
Man, that's crazy. We had something like that when I was with the Jets. We were playing in Chicago in December, and a storm came in. It was like 2010. And we got stuck at the hotel in Chicago for 2 or 3 days. And we were at the Trump Towers, this hotel.
Yeah, we're right off of Michigan Avenue over there.
Oh, I was looking outside. Like, I bet you, and this is after the game. It's like there's no reason to be like, jacked up or nervous or butterflies. And I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here. I don't want nothing to do with. We would go out to San Diego 2 days, especially when I was with the Jets. Got to San Diego 2 days early, and everybody be going out and going to La Jolla. And all. Nope, I have no idea what San Diego looks like. I've been there like 6 times. No idea what San Diego looks like. So yeah, and so I would do the same thing. So night before, stay in the hotel, get to bed right away. As soon as that last meeting was done, ice cream and cookies, right up to bed. Ambien, I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow. Getting up early, 12 o'clock game. I liked to leave I would leave. So if we were playing a home game, I would leave the hotel in Kansas City at 8:11 and get to get into the locker room by like 8:24. And that was, I had to be like 8:24 to 8:27. I had to be in there by then. Same thing with the breakfast. I would have chicken breast, broccoli, spaghetti, no meat, no sauce, just spaghetti, and hash browns. And that was it. And then I'd be drinking tons of Gatorade because I used to cramp up all the time. So I'd have to be drinking Gatorade constantly, getting IVs and stuff like that. But yeah, then 8:24, I'd get there. Nobody else was there, just me. That was it. And hot tub, stretch out, walk around, listen to music. And then start to get dressed. And I can't remember exactly, but everything had an exact time. Right, so 9:13, okay, time to get taped. 9:27, okay, time to put my pants on. It's like then the music had a rotation. It was like, okay, we're getting to 10:30, this song got to be playing. Okay, 11 o'clock, we come in, now this song got to be playing. And so, and then 5-hour energy, pain medication.
Oh yeah,
all that stuff.
Listen, I had a 5-hour energy for pregame and one for halftime.
That was it.
And I would have to have an Uncrustable at halftime.
Uncrustable at halftime.
I come in, I get an Uncrustable and a half oranges. I'm eating like a kindergartner, like my kids. At halftime, and I'm drinking a ton of water and Gatorade and listening to the adjustments and just thinking about like everything I'm gonna do to fix all my mistakes.
Yeah, halftime. Yeah, halftime was terrible. If it didn't go well in the first half, I'm like, just get back out there. I need to fix this stuff. But there's still, very few things better than getting done, winning a game, having played a good game, and then going out to dinner after with my wife, going down Overland Park was where we lived, and we'd go out to eat down there, Italian restaurant that I liked, and that just sitting there and having played well and won the game, and you feel sore and your body's tired, but like you're celebrating. Oh, there was that. I just missed that.
Definitely an accomplishing feeling.
Oh,
everyone being so happy. But the opposite of that is miserable.
That's miserable.
I want to go out with a hoodie on, or
sucks.
I don't want to be seen in town. It's not a good
terrible.
thing.
I mean, there were some games I would go, I'd have a bad game and I'd go right from Arrowhead to the facility and go watch the film because I was like, I'm not going to be able to focus until I see this film. Yeah, that's football, man. The ups and the downs, and that's really what. And I still 6 years out struggle with in retirement is there's very little that elicits that kind of emotion, and I've tried to find it. I've tried the mixed martial arts and tried all this other stuff, and there's nothing to replicate the locker room. There's nothing to replicate the highs and lows. The running out, hearing your name called at Arrowhead and the flames going up and everybody yelling.
70,000 fans screaming.
Oh, there's nothing. There's just nothing like that. Nothing like that. Well, brother, that's going to do it for this week. We're coming up on 30 minutes. Chiefs Kingdom, we're back, baby. Feeling good. Jeff Stradamus called it. We're going to get the W this week. We're going to beat Dallas, and we're rolling, baby. We are rolling.
We're rolling. I'm gonna give a score prediction.
Okay, let's do that
because it's variable. But I'm going to say 31-28.
31-28
That's an
KC.
odd score, but 31-28.
I can totally see that too. And I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to mush what you said. I don't want to bring the bad luck in. But
Chiefs.
yeah, Chiefs, baby. All right, Big Jeff. Thank you again this week, Chiefs Kingdom. We love you guys. We will see you next week with another victory, and we'll celebrate together. Go Chiefs. See you next week, Big Jeff.
Go Chiefs. See you next week, brother.